When four students at the University of Idaho were brutally murdered more than a month ago in their rented home, police didn't have any suspects at first. But today, police identified the killer as Bryan Kohberger. He's a graduate student in criminology at nearby Washington State University. Now, many people are wondering how Kohberger was able to commit this horrible crime and then evade capture for so long. Now, Rob McQueen used to live in that very same rented home where these murders occurred. And he says that these killings would have required a lot of planning. Rob, thanks for making time to join us here. You bring a perspective that I think no one else has shared just yet. How did you find out that this occurred in the place that you lived when you were going through college? And what ran through your mind?
Hi, Tulsi. Thanks for having me on. So I actually found out about this through a group chat with my former roommates where we lived together when I was actually working in Ukraine. So it was a very quick group chat, and it was really a shock to kind of sit and think. You have that initial reaction of, I can't believe that I used to live there, and then you have the reaction of, I can't believe this happened in my state. And I think it's important to look at this not just in the details that we can get so lost in a crime that's so brutal and really has created so much conspiracy theory and thoughts and speculation, but really look at it in the impact of the lives and the family of those four people that were slain, the impact of the University of Idaho and the Moscow community, and the impact in Idaho as a whole. Like, this is not something that normally happens in this state. Like, this is going to leave an impact for a very long time.
Yeah, so Rob, I mean, you served in the United States Army for 15 years. You're a military veteran. You've deployed a number of times, and you were doing humanitarian work in Ukraine when you found out about this. As you think about those halls and those rooms that you lived in, tell us what had to go into this murderer being able to commit such a heinous crime in that house.
So when you look at the layout of the house, right, it's basically an old build with a newer build on top, and it's built into a hillside. So if you address kind of the first theories with the surviving roommates that were living on the first floor, that they would have heard something, that they were there, you had to have heard it. You have to understand that the structure of the house, those first two rooms, are built just underneath the living room, and then are also built into a hillside. So then when you move to the second floor of this house, you get to the main level that enters two bedrooms, one bedroom directly across from the kitchen and next to the stairs that goes up to the third floor. And then that kitchen enters onto a back patio, which is on that hillside. So that second layer where the kitchen is, where that second bedroom is, and where the stairs that go up, that move to the third floor are, that is not above those other two bedrooms. So it's really important to understand that. So you're not going to hear a lot from that basement level there. And then once you move from that sliding glass door, you're run directly into the entrance to a bedroom, and then to your right, you have to go up the stairs. And when you think about a third floor, you have to think of this in college housing, right? So when you move up to that third floor, it's a narrow stairway. It enters into a very, very small hallway, and then the entrance to two rooms, the room that the murders took place in and another room that was unoccupied. And that is a really, just the layout and the complexity of getting to that part. You could either be completely not worried about the impact of what would happen to you should you be caught, or you had to diligently plan and understand the layout of that house to move in and actually leave that space without like really causing alarm and being caught.
Yeah, Rob, it is chilling to think about the footsteps that killer took to commit that crime. I know that a lot more details will be coming out very soon. Thanks for sharing your firsthand account of what could have happened that day in that house. I appreciate it, and thank you for your service.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson Tonight.